This is Damon Fordham, adjunct professor of history at the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina. And as many of you know, about a week before this is being recorded in July of 2023, the Supreme Court of the United States struck down affirmative action on the college level. Now, a lot of people since then have done a lot of gnashing of teeth since this has happened and gotten into hysterics over this all over social media because unfortunately right now the leadership and the solid plans and the clear agendas to make progress simply aren't really there at the moment. So there's a lot of confusion. But something can be done about this, and let's talk about that for a moment. You see, we understand that there are many businesses and administrators who, if they had their choice, would not necessarily want to hire Black people. We get that. But there still remains this perception among many that people of African descent are good at all things physical and nothing mental. And that without affirmative action or anything like that there's just absolutely no hope for Black people to get ahead in this country. Well, now, I think that to an extent, some people who come from backgrounds where they may not have the type of help to get them to the next level, well, people like that might need some help. I understand that. But as for the idea that Black people are good at all things physical and nothing mental, and that will just do terrible when it comes to tests and all this kind of thing, here's some things you want to know. Back in April of 1945, there was this article in the American Journal of Psychology called The Intelligence of Northern Negroes and Southern Whites in the First World War that was authored by M.F. Ashley Montague. Okay, I have it right here. And it talks about how during World War I, during the Army intelligence tests, Black soldiers from the northern United States tended to score better than white soldiers from the southern United States. Why? A better education, better training, better background, all right? You know, a lot of people talk about the Tulsa Massacre, and they kind of end the story with the fact that white marauders had destroyed the Black community. But when you read things such as The Burning by Tim Madigan and Death in the Promised Land by Scott Ellsworth and others who've written about Tulsa, if you read the full story, it'll tell you how a Black lawyer named B.C. Franklin, after the Tulsa Massacre, he managed to save the people's land from being taken over by the city so that the African Americans could build back up Black Wall Street into something even better than they had before. That's the part of the story that you don't often hear. And if you study the history of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, you see that back during the days when they had segregation of the buses and Black people had to ride in the back, what did? They created the Safe Bus Company so that Black people had their own buses to ride. Now, I'm not saying that we should go back to segregation or anything like that. What I'm here to tell you is this. You know, when I went to Dakar in West Africa, Senegal, I saw a very advanced city that was run by Black people, okay? And usually when you deal with Africans, as a matter of fact, when they come here, they are usually the children of highly motivated immigrants who outscore people in the United States and England when they do these tests. So I say all that to say that, listen, what we have to do about all this is to create a higher expectation of excellence among our youth and not take for granted that they're not going to do well. Jesse Jackson had this program called Push Excel when I was a boy in the 70s, where he went around the country making Black youth and teachers and parents sign pledges that they would work as a team to demand excellence in the classroom. Guess what? That program still exists today. And because it doesn't conform to a lot of the negativity that a lot of people look for today, people don't hear about that, right? So the thing is, there's a solution to all this stuff, people. Create a demand of excellence in our young people for the next couple of generations, and pretty soon we wouldn't have to worry about affirmative action. We can create our own affirmative action. This is Damon Fordham.